This week we will learn how to animate a car in Procreate. And maybe you have seen these two animations I did on my Instagram. I have learned two ways how to do this, and each of them gives a bit different look. And today we will be learning this one. For this to go smoother, I created a Procreate file, and there will be car and background layers, so it's easier to follow along. And also there will be tips and tricks file with everything we learned today. So you can use it as a guide later to create your own animations. And the animation we will be creating today at the end will look like this. So let's roll the intro and start animate. Let's start with the goodies. You open the folder and here is the written tips file. You can read, zoom in, zoom out, and now screenshot this. We are gonna use this in the animation. Close this and then click on the other file and it will open right up in the Procreate. For now, uncheck the foreground and background layers and then combine all the car layers so they are in one group. Now click on the reference and import the screenshot we just took. And let's put it aside. In this tutorial, our animation will be 10 frames. So duplicate the group by sliding to left and click duplicate. And you need to do this 9 times. Later you can choose for your own how many frames you want in your animation. Now we're gonna work on the wheels. The first group will stay the same. The second frame, click on one wheel, then the arrow and on the green dot and rotate 36 degrees. Do the same with the other wheel. The third frame will be 72 degrees. So you're gonna do the same. Click on one wheel, rotate it and then click on the other wheel and rotate it as well. So you just look at the little reference box and you can see all the degrees by what you need to rotate the wheel. If you want animation to be, for example, 5 frames long, then divide 360 by 5 and you rotate the wheel by that number. And our car is driving to the left, but if you want the car to drive on the other direction to the right, then you just need to click the minus sign before the degrees when rotating the wheel. And the last frame will be one time of our number, in this case 36, smaller than 360. So the animation creates a loop and you can play it multiple times and it will look good. When all the wheels have been rotated, then click on Actions, Canvas and turn on Animation Assist. Then in the settings you can change animation speed and press play. Click off reference and let's work on the car bounce. The first frame will stay the same. Work on the car layer in the second group. Click arrow and tap on the top, as you can see me doing, 3 times, but you can choose your own number. The next frame I will tap 5 times, so it's going up a bit more. Next frame car comes a bit down, so tap 3 times or how many you did in the second frame. The next frame car is at its starting position, so the frame stays the same. The next frame we will go down and I tap 2 times under the car. And the next frame will be 4 times tapping. The next frame I will tap 5 times and this will be the lowest point that the car goes down. And now the car goes back up and this frame will be 4 times tapping and the last frame will be 2 times. And we have created a bouncing loop. And you can later play around with moving the car up and down how you want. And press play. Now let's turn back in the foreground and the background layers. And here at the bottom, click on those frames and click in foreground and background. And this will allow them to stay through all the animation. Now you can flatten all the groups and rename the layers from 1 to 10. Now let's draw the shadow under the car. I choose 6B pencil brush and dark color and shade under the car and the wheels, and you can click on the frame at the bottom and do the shading in all of them. And now the big part. Duplicate all the frames by sliding the layer to left and then click duplicate. Then click on the first one and slide to the right on all the other duplicated frames to select them. Then hold one and drag to the top of the 10th frame. Now I will click on Drawing Guide and change the size so I can space out the frame movement. I choose 68, but it's totally up to you. At the bottom in the animation settings, change skin frames to 1, so you will see one frame before and after. Now let's start moving. Click the first frame, then arrow tool and click in magnetics. This will help you move the car. You need to look at that blue line and it needs to be straight, so your car moves straight in the animation. And now move the car to the first checkbox in the drawing guide. And I am checking that those blue dots in the corners are on the line. The second frame will be one checkbox further than the first frame. So you just need to move the frames one checkbox at a time. And this will give illusion that the car is moving at the same speed throughout the animation. And when you have moved the 10th frame from our first group, then duplicate all the frames that we didn't move and drag them at the top like we did before. And continue moving the car one checkbox at a time, and you can see the previous frame as well, so it gives a bit of guidance. And I will uncheck the background layers for now. When you get to the end, then start looking at the car's back for guidance. The checkboxes doesn't line up correctly, but move them similar like before. The previous frame gives a bit of guidance for us. And do this till the car is out of our canvas. And we are at the end. I have 2 frames left, and you can delete or uncheck them so they are not seen in the animation. Turn off the drawing guide, click back in the background layers and press play. You can change the animation speed by clicking settings and then frames per second. Now that we are almost done, we need some exhaust gas, or that smoke that is coming out of the car. Find the frame when the car is fully in the frame, and again with the 6B pencil and dark color we will draw scribbly lines. Then click on the next frame at the bottom and draw new scribbly lines next to the car and some at the previous frame place. Go through all the frames, and I usually draw the smoke 2 or 3 frames at the same place and make new smoke as well. You better look at what I'm doing because this explanation doesn't really make sense. When the car is out of canvas, then click Add Frame at the bottom and draw the smoke, because it will not disappear at the same moment as the car. And I add one more. Press play and you have created a car animation. Usually I export my animations as animated MP4. This is the end of the video. I hope you liked it. And if you have any questions, then feel free to write them in the comments. And next week we will be learning another version of the car animation. So if you don't want to miss that, then please consider subscribing. Bye!